Hi guys, here we are again. So in the last lesson we looked at comparing data, looking at similarities, and today we're going to look at approximating data. So how to say approximately instead of how to give precise exact numbers. Okay. We're going to first look at approximating with numbers, okay? So instead of saying 673, we're saying around that number, okay? We're also going to look at approximating with comparatives, okay? So a little bit higher than, for example, and also approximating with superlatives, okay? So now let's take a look. I've got this graph here, and I'm going to put some vocabulary onto this graph, and this vocabulary will appear in the position according to the meaning of the word. Okay, so this is mainly a vocabulary lesson and a grammar lesson combined. Okay, so with a specific number, okay, we've got two expressions that we can use. Okay, the first one is approximately. Approximately. Now, what does approximately mean? Okay, well, obviously it doesn't mean exactly. It could be a little bit higher or a little bit lower than. It means around, okay? And on the graph, if we take the middle line as our exact number, approximately would be somewhere like this, okay? So it could be a little bit above or below, okay? Another word which means the same thing is around. Around, okay? And that would be in the same position on the graph, okay? Now, if we want to put this into a sentence, what kind of sentence would we have? Here, the company sold approximately 500,000 computers from January to June. Okay, approximately 500,000 or around 500,000. Okay, so obviously this number is not 500,000. It could be 496,000, it could be 510,000 or something like that. Okay, but it's not necessary to be exact about the number, so we're just going to give a round number. This is what we call a round number. Okay, now some other expressions for specific numbers. We have just under. Okay, so this is slightly different to approximately or around, in that it is definitely not above the line, okay? And just under goes here. Nearly or almost has the same meaning, okay? And that will go here, okay? So we are not above the line, we are below the line by a little bit, okay? For example, company profits were nearly 5 billion last year. Okay, company profits were nearly 5 billion last year. Okay, instead of nearly, you could say almost 5 billion. Okay, or instead of almost 5 billion, you could say just under 5 billion. Okay, all of those combinations are possible. Okay, so what about just over? Now we can see that this is definitely not below the line, this is only above the line and by a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Just over. Another way of saying just over would be slightly above. Slightly above. And that will go here. And an example. Failure rates, so the number of people failing an exam, for example, rose to just over 30% for the first time in 15 years. Okay, so in the last 15 years it was obviously below 30% or at 30%, but now for the first time it has risen to above 30%, but only a little bit above. Okay? Now, what about well over? Where do you think this is in our graph? So well is different to just, and it will go here. So well over. So now that you can see it's above the line, but by a lot. Okay? Well under would be the opposite. Okay? So just over, just under, or well over and well under. Considerably above is the same meaning as well over. Okay?